Hey guys, and welcome back to a brand new episode of my F1 2018 career mode. Finally we are here, episode number 100. We finally reached the 3-digit mark, and I'm very happy to say that. If you guys did miss the last episode, episode number 99, then do check that one out, guys, for the Singapore Grand Prix. Before coming back to this one, there'll be a link in the top right corner of your screen in a card annotation. But today, episode 100, I had a lot of requests, for maybe cockpit view, 100% race and all that kind of stuff, but generally speaking, I don't really want to do it for this race. I don't really enjoy Russia that much, and I feel like wasting 100% race special occasion or a cockpit view race on this track for me is a bit of a nothing occasion. So I might try and save it for maybe later on, maybe the last race of the season, who knows. But as you saw a moment ago, we do have pretty good conditions all weekend long, no rain expected. And in terms of the R&D development, Red Bull have actually overtaken us as the 4th best team, and also Renault have overtaken Ferrari as the 2nd best team. So a couple of changes in the R&D order, and for sure the upgrade race is still going on. At the moment, as we know, that we do have a big regulation change in for next season, where the engine, aero and chassis departments are all going to get affected. So it's kind of a bit of a balancing act as to what you want to upgrade / what you want to conserve part-wise. At the moment, we are currently in the process of saving a lot of R&D points to try and go on a massive spending spree with the Mercedes car in terms of saving parts for next season, and potentially maybe getting 1 or 2 more upgrades before the season ends, but we'll have to wait and see on that. Either way, we're going to jump into Saturday qualifying here at the Sochi Autodrome, and Sochi, a track that I don't particularly like that much, to be honest. It's a very basic track, no real elevation change, very flat circuit, lots of 90-degree corners, and it's one of them tracks where I've got okay pace, but I've never really been spectacular around here. So let's just see what happens. Hopefully we try and do a good job. We're currently on a bit of a ruthless streak at the moment when it comes to performances in qualifying. In the last, I think, 4 or 5 qualifying sessions, we've taken out 3 poles. We've really done well at the minute, and as you can see, our first run didn't go according to plan, as we invalidated our lap time running across the curb on turn 2, taking too much of the corner cut there, which was fair enough. So I went out for a second run, and this lap was actually pretty good. He was on for an improvement here to get into the 126s, but then on the exit I'll run a bit too wide, clip the wall and lose my end plate, and there pretty much ruins my lap. So I decided to bow into the pit lane. But now we're going to run aboard for my first actual proper time lap of the session, and it's my final lap of the session, so it's all or nothing on this lap, and it has to be a big lap. So let's run aboard here and let's see how this goes. Already DRS open through turn 1 as we now go down towards turn 2. Break up the 100-meter board down to 4th gear, making sure you really attack the inside curb at turn 2 to open up your exit. Now flat out through turn 3 here, past the Kvyat grandstand, and now down towards turn number 4, the right hander, down a couple of gears, down to gear number 4, and it's all about not running too wide here, because you can easily run too wide and invalidate your lap time. Now down towards turn number 5, this time at the end of the first sector, you want to really attack that inside curb, let the car run out wide, not too much though, as there is a wall there and you can easily crash, as I've done before. Then through the right of 6, it's all about momentum, this middle sector, and having a good setup and let the car flow as we hit a double apex left once again here, going past the little stadium on the right hand side, and then finally this right hander which feeds onto the back straight. So far though, it's been a pretty damn good lap, I'd say pretty much perfect lap, with very minor, if not no corrections whatsoever, as we now go on the back straight. DRS maxed out as we now go towards the final sector, into this heavy brake zone, into a kind of right-left chicane combination underneath the bridge, and it's all about trying to find that traction as soon as possible through here to maximise lap time. Now into a left-right chicane, off cambered, one bit of a different combination this one, and it's all about once again letting the car flow, find the momentum. This time we don't crash at that wall as well, and now the final 2 corners, 2 90-degree rights to try and finish the lap here on a high, really attacking that final corner and getting really nice and sharp to the apex, and we do go P4 with a purple final sector, and that was my best lap, and generally speaking that was pretty much as good as I could have got it. I didn't really have much more pace in the car. It does feel like the AI are quite strong around this circuit, and also the fact that we're 5th in the R&D tree and we haven't brought any upgrades is kind of starting to show, and we're definitely slacking on pace. But as you can see, Charles Leclerc takes pole position in the Sauber ahead of Sebastian Vettel and Kimi Räikkönen. Nico Hülkenberg P4 in the Renault, and then we are P5 starting from row number 3. Carlos Sainz P6, Marcus Ericsson P7, my teammate Lewis Hamilton in 8th place, my nearest rival in the championship, and then Ricciardo and Gasly round off the top 10. But that is your grid for the Sochi Autodrome here in qualifying, and we're now going to move into the race on Sunday for the Russian Grand Prix. Let's get into it.
You didn't practice much this weekend. Are you saving your car for the race? You left some bodywork out there on the track. Were you struggling for grip? Well, Thanks anyway.
Good afternoon from Sochi as we prepare to get underway for the Russian Grand Prix. The championship battle has some time to go yet, but still expect no quarter to be given here on this circuit that made its debut in 2014 and has already seen some classic racing. Situated just 3 miles from the Georgian border, the 3.6 miles Sochi Autodrome has 2 notable overtaking opportunities into turn 1 and then turn 13. 18 corners in total here, 12 to the right and 6 to the left, and it's an average lap speed of around 130 miles per hour. A warm welcome to Anthony Davidson, who's beside me in the commentary box today. Let's talk about Martinez. That was a great win in the last race. Can they keep that momentum going this weekend?
It's always nice to come into a Grand Prix weekend on a high, but your expectations are based much more on your practice and qualifying runs. So it's the momentum from those sessions that they'll be hoping to carry into the race today.
So before the off, let's remind ourselves of yesterday's qualifying session with a look at the starting grid. Sebastian Vettel has a clear track ahead of him today. He starts in pole position, and Kimi Räikkönen completes the front row. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Hülkenberg, Martinez, Carlos Sainz and Leclerc. They've taken a grid penalty. Ericsson, Hamilton, Ricciardo and Pierre Gasly. Verstappen, Perez, Fernando Alonso and Hartley, Ocon, Van Dorn, Kevin Magnussen and Roman Grosjean. Stroll and Sergei Sirotkin rounds off the grid. And with preparations almost complete, let's head down to the track.
Right then, here we are on the grid for the Russian Grand Prix, episode number 100 of Career Mode. And today, we start the race from 4th place. After a decent qualifying, we got promoted due to penalties onto the second row. It's an all-Ferrari front row. We got a Renault alongside us. And the good thing is Charles Leclerc is behind, which is crucial for the championship. So, P4, the qualifying was decent, like I mentioned. I've got the max amount of the car, I feel, over 1 lap. And we just generally don't have that extra bit of pace, that X factor, to really be quickest around here. So, to be honest, if I could get a podium, I'd be very happy in this race. Now, in terms of the strategy, we are going to go for a one-stop, as you'd expect, around Sochi, with the Hypers onto the Ultras, and we shouldn't have any tyre temperature issues around here since the patch arrived, so that should hopefully help us out. Fuel-wise, we are 1.5 laps over, and hopefully that should be enough to be able to kind of be aggressive with the fuel, but also not be too heavy and still be relatively competitive. But with that being said, let's jump into it here at Sochi and let's see how it goes. Hopefully we can try and outscore Leclerc and extend our championship lead. Also, I think Hamilton as well, if we can score some points over him, he's currently second in the championship, that would be great. But with that being said, let's just jump into it and let's see how episode number 100 of Career Mode gets underway. It's time for the Russian Grand Prix. Right, this is it. Let's get ready for the 5 red lights here. Revs are up into the sweet spot. 5 lights are on and they are off. And away we go. Decent start. I've got to say my starts lately have been on point. I can't lie. A little bit of contact there between the 2 Ferraris as Leclerc gets alongside. Look at the speed of that Sauber go on a straight line. Oh my days. We're going to have to just be cautious here under braking. The Ferraris, a little bit of contact there. They lock up. Leclerc trying to get past the Renault as Sainz now makes the move down the inside. The acceleration in that banana car. We've lost 2 places off the start, purely down to just poor straight line speed / acceleration as we were a little bit hot. They almost hit the back of Carlos Sainz, have to straighten the car up. Ericsson trying to go for the move here to the inside. I go defensive, but he still commits to the inside line. He's hot on the brakes. We're going to go around the outside and get the move back on Ericsson and hold that position, but Ericsson coming back, and once again the acceleration in the Sauber car, ridiculous as we run wide. Going to have to concede that position, and oh my god, now Hamilton's on my outside here. Everyone's trying to get past me here early on. We are really up against it, but what a horrific first lap. The start for once was good, but it happened to be one of the longest straights on the calendar when it comes to a run down to the first brake zone, and we've lost a hell of a lot of places, which is really, really annoying. So we need to get going again here, try and pick up our pace. Not sure how we're going to fare for straight line speed around here, considering what we've just seen there on this opening lap, but hopefully we can do better. Adjusting the brake bar set to 56, hopefully that should give us the balance we need to be able to push now. But hopefully we can find our rhythm early on and try and keep up, because like I mentioned before in qualifying, we don't seem to have the X factor here when it comes to pace. So realistically speaking, I wanted the podium. I'm going to have to rechange my target now, maybe just settle for a top 5, because we are definitely up against it here. And Lewis is coming at me, my own teammate, in the same machinery. Here he goes. I'm going to go defensive to the inside. forcing Lewis to go the long way around. Into turn 2, we're going to hold on though. Good defensive driving there. I need to find my rhythm though. I'm really struggling for pace here early on. I really am. I honestly have no pace at all. I'm really struggling here, big time. You can see the gap opening out to the top teams and I'm forming a train behind me. I need to find something, I really do. DRS is now enabled. Lewis is within range. Looks like we have to defend again down to turn 2 here. Here comes Hamilton. Going to show him the long way round. This is really not how I saw my race panning out. I really didn't. I'm going to try and keep it in rich mix in the hot lap now. I'm going to try and have a strong lap and try and open up a gap and see if I can find my pace because I really don't know where it's gone. Right, personal best, 31.2, 1.3 up on my previous best. We are still up against it here, big time. Just getting a little bit of a gap open up now. Hamilton won't be attacking me this time around, but I need to have another strong lap like that one. I've also got very slight front wing damage on the front right. It's only light green, therefore it won't get changed at the pit stop even if I want to. But there's definitely a bit of understeer which I can notice. Another personal best, 30.9. Decent pace. Lewis is keeping up though. Thanks to the DRS mainly. He's managing to stay within range. He's going to get close this time, but I don't think he's going to be close enough for a move. But right now my pace is improving a bit, and we're able to not get distracted and battle with people, which is what I want. I want to be able to do my own thing, drive at my own speed, and also we are catching up to the cars in front as well, so it's good progress. Lewis is on me here. He's going to go to the outside. I want to try and go late on the brakes and defend my position, but Lewis is holding it right on the outside, which is the inside for the next corner, but we are going to get the power down and stay in front. This is what I don't want, to start wasting time battling when I'm just starting to open up a gap for the rest of the pack behind. Right, Lewis is going to be on me this lap. I'm already in overtake ERS mode. Going to have to go defensive again. Very late on the brakes. That's going to put me on the back foot slightly, but we are going to hold on. I'm really concerned though where my pace has gone. I can't understand how I've lost so much time compared to qualifying. Don't get me wrong, in qualifying it was a special lap. I shouldn't have qualified P4, but I don't understand still where all this time has gone. Well, I think Lewis is going to be on me here. I really am struggling for pace, and Hamilton's just putting too much pressure on. I'm going to try and go defensive, show Lewis the long way around. But this is really becoming a struggle this race, and I can't explain why, but at this point I'd be lucky to finish where I am in this race, I think. I've selected a front wing change in the next stop, which I don't think they're going to give me. I've also, in the case they don't give me a front wing, I've given myself an extra turn of front wing to have a little more front downforce because I've got so much understeer, it's unbelievable. And fingers crossed that'll make a difference, because if not, we're going to be in big trouble this race. This is my scheduled pit stop lap, so let's try and survive it and let's try and stay in 7th place if we can. Lewis is going to be on me here, so we're going to have to go defensive one more time. Here we go to the inside. Let's try and hold on here. Lewis locks up. I run a little bit deep, but we are going to straighten the car up. Lewis loses a little bit of time, potentially drops out of DRS range, which is good. So now let's crack on with this. Right then, here we go into the pit lane. Let's make sure we don't speed. There we go, beautiful, hitting the 60. No penalties as well, which is pretty decent for a change. Makes a change. I'm not sure if that's been patched or not, but no penalties. Into the pit lane. Here we go. Nice quick stop, please. Right, 2.5, away we go straight away. No time lost, no front wing change. So I've had the extra bit of front wing applied, just for the downforce purposes, which is good. So now we're going to get up to speed. Crucially, those 3 slower cars, they're going to come out right in front of the Ferrari and the Alfa Romeo, so it's going to cost them a little bit of time, which is good for me. Hopefully we can find our pace though. A little bit more front end downforce on the car now, along with fresh tyres. We're a little bit slower on the straights, which is kind of annoying, but hopefully we can make up for it in general cornering speed. So let's get up to speed in these tyres, and let's crack on with it, and let's try and have a strong outlap. Well, we've got multiple cars in the pit lane now. These tyres feel great. Much better than the Hypersols, and also the front wings made all the difference. I feel a lot quicker already. Here we go, they're leaving the pit lane. We've actually done a pretty big undercut here, and we've gained a lot of time on Ericsson. Look at that, he's right in front of us. Along with the rest of the top 6, we are right back in this race now. And the undercut has worked out beautifully. And we are racing here once again at Sochi. Now the question is, will we have the pace now that everyone's on the fresh tyres? We'll have to wait and see. But currently the top 6 are negotiating those slower cars that are kind of scrambled in between. So Let's try and cash in on this. This is our chance to close the gap as we went a bit wide there, but still, let's close these guys down. This is my chance to get back into this race. The car's working better already, so let's try and get ahead down as I pick up my first track extent of the Grand Prix. Ericsson and Sainz get past Magnussen. We are now going to do the exact same thing here as we go down the inside of the Haas. He's still on Hypersoft, so his tyres are going to be shot to pieces. But here we go then, we're right back in this race now. On the back of Ericsson, Sainz, Leclerc, they're out of shape. Let's try and focus on our exit out the final corner. But we are racing here, but look at the acceleration. Oh my days, man. Wow, incredible stuff. We're going to have to get them somewhere else. It's going to have to be out of in a surprising corner or somewhere unorthodox. Meanwhile, though, they are battling into turn 2 here. That's going to put them on the back foot slightly. Also, Gasly behind me, that's for position, so I've got to be careful at the same time that Gasly doesn't get past. We are right back in this race. Front wing change making all the difference, or should I say the front wing downforce change. Gasly's going to be a threat as well. Even though that Toro Rosso is not that fast, the Honda's very quick on the straight, and that could be a problem for me because I'm struggling with my acceleration. Well, everyone's come into the pit lane now. We've all recovered our usual running order, so we're back into P7 now. But look how much closer we are to the top 6. Now the question is, how do we get past these guys? Because it's not happening on the straights. I mean, look how much time I lose just through that corner, just because of straight line speed. So I need to try and think of a bit of a strategy here. I'm not really sure what I'm going to do, but I need to think of something. Right, decent that. Personal best, 30.0. Not too far off the race pace. I'm just trying to cling on to Ericsson here and his DRS because I'm losing too much on the straight. The good news is I am shaking off Gasly, so to be honest, at this point, I would take a P7 if I could just shake off Gasly and have a very boring race. Also, if the top 6, or should I say top 5, because the person leads pulling away now, but if the 5 cars in front of me wanted to start battling, that'd be great because that would give me my chance to make something happen. But unfortunately, without that, we are just too slow on the straights to make anything happen in this race. Right, I think we've done enough now. We've got a gap to Gasly now, which is good, so we can forget about that. We can now focus on ourselves. Hopefully Lewis will start battling with Gasly as well. But for now, I'm now waiting for the 5 cars in front who are bunching up quite rapidly to start battling very heavily.
Okay, some information on Raikkonen. They have some kind of mechanical problem.
Oh, okay. Kimi Raikkonen with mechanical issues in the Ferrari. And there you go, he's pulled over in the Ferrari. Raikkonen pulls over, and I think he might be out of the race. That's my guess. Raikkonen retires from the Russian Grand Prix unless he's picked up a puncture, but if it's a mechanical issue, like Jeff said on the radio, then Raikkonen is going to be out of the race. But that's brought the 4 guys in front really close together now, so the race is on here. Let's keep this going. Sainz up the inside of Leclerc, it seems. Bit of a rash move there from the Renault, but he's made it work. But here we go, we're right back in this battle now. This is exactly what I wanted. This is my opportunity. Losing a lot of time here, Ericsson. I'm going to go for the dive into the final corner. Bit rash, but like I said, I'm taking everything that I can this race. That was my chance. Hopefully Ericsson gets overtaken, or gets under pressure at least. Although I feel like he might just come back at me with the straight line speed he's got, to be honest. Leclerc going for a move on Carlos Sainz. Into turn 2. They both lose a lot of time here. This is my chance to make something happen. Come on. There's a podium up for grabs. Leclerc, look at the speed in that Sauber. He goes clean around the outside of Sainz. Absolutely incredible. That Sauber is something else. It really is. But we're in this race. Let's try and stick with these guys if we can. I've got a slipstream on Sainz, but Sainz has a slipstream on Leclerc. Ericsson coming at me here really fast in the Sauber, as you'd expect, from absolutely miles back. But I think Leclerc might just open up a gap to Sainz here, which might give me a chance of getting past the Renault. Okay, this could be interesting. Sainz still within DRS of Leclerc, but Ericsson's within my DRS in the Sauber. I'm going to try and use Sainz's toe to stay in front. And we do manage to stay in front for now, which is good. Let's keep this going. Oh, Leclerc locks up, runs deep. Sainz comes back at him. Damage there for the Sauber on the end plate. Leclerc's slow and we breeze past. There it is. And Leclerc's going to be not so fast through the corners. He's still going to be a threat on the straight, but he's going to be struggling through the corners a lot more. This is my chance also to get past Carlos Sainz here, because he's going to have no DRS on anybody in front of him. Come on, let's try and stay within range. The acceleration's going to kick in there for the Renault. But he has no slipstream this time, so he doesn't pull away as much as he normally would. Can I get close enough here? I think I'm too far back with DRS. I'm giving it everything here, but we're not going to gain enough. However, if we can stick with him now and wait to the DRS on the second part of the lap, then that will work for me. But this is my chance for a podium here, big time, as now Leclerc behind is going to start struggling through this middle sector with his downforce loss. We are just holding on to Sainz's DRS. Leclerc's dropping back, which is what I wanted, but I think we're not going to be able to get Sainz. I don't think it's just a little bit too fast. But if I can finish P4, that would be an incredible result and I wouldn't complain. I'm trying so hard here to really have a go at Sainz. I actually was a little bit closer to that lap than I thought I would be. I just kind of close enough. The acceleration's ridiculous in these other cars, man. Well, we've dropped out of DRS, so I think this could be all she wrote, to be honest. We've got a decent gap to the Saubers behind. My guess is Ericsson might have picked up some damage from Leclerc as I pick up my second track ascent of the race. So I think at this point I'm just going to try and settle down and bring this result home, to be honest. Right, last lap. Let's bring this one home. Ericsson's just picking up the pace right towards the end, but we should be okay. Sainz has got a 4-second gap now, kind of giving up on Carlos Sainz, so let's just bring this one home. Right, here we go, through the final few corners now. Sebastian Vettel wins the Russian Grand Prix, and Ericsson right towards the end here really putting some pressure on me as he's really picked up the pace. But we're going to come through for a fantastic P4 and definitely unexpected in a way. I wanted a podium at the start of the race, and I realised we had absolutely no pace and I couldn't see myself finish higher than 7th, so that, in my opinion, is a good result. Right, so looking at the final race results, Sebastian Vettel wins at the Sochi Autodrome ahead of Nico Hülkenberg and Carlos Sainz. The Renault cars going very well here this weekend. We come home P4 and then Ericsson P5, Charles Leclerc P6 ahead of my championship rival Lewis Hamilton P7, then Pierre Gasly, Daniel Ricciardo and Max Verstappen round off the top 10. Further down the order though, you got the Toro Rosso there of Hartley missing out on points, as did the two McLarens, and then Raikkonen there, P18 in the end. He didn't retire, but he had car issues, and then you got both of the Force Indias and Williams kind of bringing up the rear with Magnussen sprinkled in between there. But in terms of what that means for the driver standings, as you can see, we are 50 points clear of Sebastian Vettel, who now gets himself into second place. So once again, that second place battle swinging on the pendulum there, and from second down to fifth, it's only 19 points covering, so it's very, very close there, and anyone can take it. But we've got a 2-race gap now to Sebastian Vettel, so essentially we can win the title 2 races ahead of time if we keep that gap of 50 points. But in terms of the constructors, we also extend our lead to 68 points over Ferrari, and a very decent race for myself and Lewis in terms of the team, and scoring some decent points for the Mercedes team in that perspective. But all in all, guys, that is going to be it for this episode of Career Mode, and as always, we're saving up R&D points to try and cover Mercedes, and I'll probably do that at the next episode. We're going to try and get a big spending flurry and try and protect Mercedes against the regulation change. But until then, hopefully you enjoyed this video, guys. If you did, then drop a like and also get subscribed for daily Formula 1 content. Turn notifications so you don't miss a single upload from me, and finally check out these 2 videos on your screen if you have missed them. But other than that, thank you for watching. We'll see you in my next video very soon. But until then, it's goodbye from me.